Um, I do a lot of reading, do a lot of writing. I speak at in different cities across the country. I was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. What date was it? April? I don't know. April, the middle part of April, and April 24th to be specific. I was the keynote speaker for the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner in Fort Wayne, and of course the message was on economic empowerment and how we can create and sustain initiatives, economic initiatives that can be passed on from generation to generation, which is of course what I write about and talk about most of the time. And the My Youth Group, the group that you heard at the introduction, the one I was listening to and bopping my head to like you guys do, you know, and you young ladies, it's a CD that I've talked about on this show. And you'll hear more. I think I'll just play one during this show. But they came over to the NAACP dinner, and I was so proud to see them. I'm so proud of that group because they have produced a CD, a full-length CD that is very positive, very educational, very informative, and entertaining. They have shown through this CD, and others have produced positive CDs, but they have shown through this CD that we can get a message out, a much needed message about who we are and what we are, and at the same time entertain ourselves, entertain young people with the same kind of message. It's a fantastic CD. You need to get it. You need to have it. And during the course of this show, I'm sure you'll see it on the screen, and you can always call me. You'll see my number and my email if you'd like to get a copy. You should get several copies. Well, we're going to play another cut before we go off, and I'm going to take a break, a short break, and let you hear a cut during the middle of the show as well. But I'm so excited about it. I've met all of the young people. They are fantastic young people. One of the young men that you're going to hear at the end of the show, Adrian Curry, is going to Morehouse next year. As a freshman, he is graduating high school in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He has about a 4.3 GPA, but he doesn't lord it. He's not like a person that walks around with that on his sleeve. He's just a straight up, down to earth young brother. And all of the young people in the My Youth Group are like that, which I appreciate. But they have a consciousness. They're developing their consciousness right now, their black consciousness. They are aware of who they are. They've experienced so much education going to the Sabre Academy in Fort Wayne. It's a Saturday school. They've experienced so much education by going to that school that they are so enlightened about the kinds of things that we talk about here on this show, Blackonomics. So in case you haven't figured it out yet, I'm very excited about the My Youth Group, and I hope that you will get the CD and share it with your friends and family. It needs to be played in every home across this country. As I said, I do a lot of reading and writing. I've written many, many articles over the years. I started writing my Blackonomics column in 1993. And for the most part, I've been writing a column since then, every week, that is nationally syndicated. And it's been nationally syndicated since 1996 when I left the Cincinnati Herald. So I have a lot of information about economic empowerment. Of course, I'm passionate about it. You can kind of see that. But I went back and went to the vault and found an article that I wrote in 1998. And it was for a magazine in San Francisco called City Flight. This is the magazine. You may not be able to make out too much on it because of the coloring, but Magic Johnson and other faces are on the cover of this magazine. It was written in, the article I wrote for this magazine was in 1998. And it's titled The Young and the Relentless. The Young and the Relentless, of course, a play on words. But what it talked about was what young people are doing on the entrepreneurial side as opposed to the images that we see and hear about in the dominant news media. And I cited a lot of the young entrepreneurs, where they came from, how they got started, what they're doing, what they were doing at that particular time, and kind of celebrated that in an effort to let people know that there is another side to what you see on the nightly news about young black people. And I want to kind of start there, but I want to get into some other things as well as we continue to go by. I'm going to change my young look now to an older look with these glasses. But I want to read a couple of things from this article. It was a long article. They wanted, I think about 2,000 words. And of course, I can write 2,000 words just about any time on economic empowerment. And I just want to read a couple of quotes from this article to kind of set things up for you. And as we move through this, I want to give you some other information. You get your pen and pencil out now, or pen, and you'll see a book list on this particular segment of Blackonomics, some recommended reading for you. There are many others. I just picked out a few to list on this show. But what I want you to do is just to think. Just to think. Now, I know everybody's not going to do this. Some young folks will say, oh, he's not talking about anything. I know they're looking right now and say, oh, that's whack. Is that what they call it? And but there'll be some, and some adults, who will sit and watch this and actually ask themselves, what can I do? What's my next step? What should I be doing? We have a group of young people here in the city of Cincinnati at the Entrepreneurship High School, one of the high schools in Cincinnati, that is known all over this country because of the contacts that I have across the country. I'm always bragging about the Entrepreneurship High School and the students thereof. And Brother Ephraim Taylor, the young 25-year-old CEO multimillionaire, was in Cincinnati a few weeks ago, and he went over. I took him over to the Entrepreneurship High School. You may have seen the article in the Cincinnati Herald. Sister Cheryl Armstrong, who is the lead administrator over there, had him come in and talk to some of the students. Those students just loved what Ephraim had to say. And we must find, I think, younger folks, those of us who are older, push the ego aside and bring in some folks or try to connect with some folks who are young and who are the kinds of role models that we want our people to see, our young people to see, and bring them in and get out of the way and let them do their thing. Ephraim Taylor he captivated those students. And they even stayed and had dialogue with him, showing him their storyboards for their business plans and their prospective businesses. And it was just a very refreshing thing to sit back and watch that. And it's something we need to do more of. And I always say that Cincinnati should be proud of the Entrepreneurship High School and the achievements that they have made, the students have made since the school opened in 2002. Having won national business plan contests, having participated in national conferences all over this country, from Seattle to San Antonio to New Orleans to San Francisco to Milwaukee to New York. They've been all over the place. And like I said, people all over the country know about this school, but the people in Cincinnati, very few people in Cincinnati know about it, and probably fewer than that really appreciate what some of the students have done who have attended that school. And I'm not taking anything away from any of the other high schools. I'm just kind of partial to that one because we were played a key role in establishing that school. And it speaks to the kinds of things that I talk about here on Blackonomics, the kinds of things that we should be teaching our children and letting them know that there are opportunities, there are alternatives to some of the behaviors that they display. We should be about doing that as adults as much as we can. And I hope that this show will encourage you to take even greater steps toward that end. This article, The Young and the Relentless, like I said, it was written in 1998, so some of this is dated, obviously, but some of it is still relevant. And in terms of the quotes and the tenor of the article, we can still use these same principles to help our children and to assure that they at least know about the opportunities available to them. We can't force anybody to do anything, but we can, as much as possible, expose our young people to opportunities so that they can at least have the ability to make an informed decision, to make an informed choice as to what direction they want to go in. Now, if they want to take this direction, at some point, there's nothing you can do about that. I came up with the Boycott Prisons campaign to expose our youth to alternative behaviors as opposed to going to prison. And like I said, we'll talk about that in a minute. But in addition to that, we must, instead of just only telling our children what not to do, I believe very strongly we have to tell them what to do, what they can do as well. And as we rail against their activities and their behaviors, we should also praise the positive behaviors. And sometimes, you know, we're a little reluctant to do that. And I'm just hoping that we will take a different tact when it comes to that, and we will see some change in their behavior.